Welcome to another edition of Picture Time. We recognize the strength, resilience, and countless roles that women take on every day. Balancing work, responsibilities, family, and the ever-growing demand of adulthood is a challenge that we all face, especially women, from managing households, earning income, raising children, and sometimes caring for extended families. It's easy to lose yourself in the process. The dreams you have, the moments of self-reflection, the deep connections of families and friends, they all risk fading into the background. At times, it feels like life is rushing past, and this is something we can all relate. Join us as we welcome Neema, Komba, and Nancy Lazaro as they share their life experiences and how they navigated these challenges in their lives.
For the first time in a really long time, I came from like a 3-week holiday where I didn't actually work for 3 weeks. I feel like we've been adulting for so long now, and now all we're doing is just working and working and working.
It's all about being intentional. You know, if I want to spend time with you right now, I have to be intentional. It's completely different from 10 years ago, where we would just wake up and say, Neema, where are you at? I'm coming. And we would spend like 7 hours together.
Yeah.
But right now, like, Neema, how is tomorrow? Do you have time tomorrow? Can we sit? Do you have 1 hour? so it's all about being intentional, because at the end of the day, it's not about work only. We need to continue doing things for ourselves, personal growth.
I do miss the days though where we could just be like, hey, umepika pilau, then I'm coming.
I still cook pilau,
But I don't come.
intentionality. So, like, every Sunday, pilau is right there waiting for you.
But speaking of being intentional, I think I want to be intentional about rest. It's a no-brainer to be intentional about work, but to be intentional about rest, that is like huge. It was extremely difficult last year. I was like, remember that poem that I sent you, and it was just about burnout, and it was just dark, depressing. But that was how I felt at the time, and I was like super burnt out, super tired. It can be so tempting to just want to work and work and work some more and work some more, because, you know, like, I don't know, it feels like purposeful and you really just are doing something and you're moving like the right trajectory. But then at some point it just becomes so difficult, and if you completely burn out, you can't even be productive.
I think one of the things that I've learned over the years of growing up and being intentional about rest is taking time to just take stock of yourself and just understanding, where am I at in terms of, yes, my work, but also in terms of family, in terms of friends, in terms of like just yourself, you know, taking time to just be you, being yourself, like sort of taking inventory of like of you, and then understanding that, and I've been forgetting to take care of myself. I've been forgetting to even like reach out, take care of the relationships that I have, or work on the causes that you want to work on. And so,
wait, what about sleep? This sounds already so serious.
No, like, yes, of course, like a part of taking inventory, part of taking care of yourself, of course, sleep is there, is a must. So you really need to. And I've not been good at that lately. I think
like sleep, wake up by the beach, sip something. Does poetry help you like take stock of these things? Do you ever like come to poetry and be like, I'm now taking stock of my life using poetry, or does it help you rest? Does it do anything for you in this kind of like
with poetry? I don't really go to poetry and say, okay, now I'm taking stock of my life.
Now I'm resting. This is my rest part.
Like, for me, it does not work that way. But this is how I know, like, something is going on in my life. Because whenever I am going through something, good, bad, like, there's all, like, I want to write, and it comes naturally. See, I just want to do something. I want to whether write or listen or read, and I would be very specific. This is what I want to read. If I want to read someone's work or my own work, if I want to listen to someone's work or my own work, so that depends. So sometimes when I get to that, I know exactly that whatever that I want to listen to or whatever that I am writing about that topic, then there's something that is going on in my life, and it's up to me to either think through and figure out if I want to figure it out, or just let poetry take me through that journey and then just figure it out as I write.
But like my process is a little bit different. It's like, especially recently, it's like me, trees, poems about trees to make sense of my life.
Yeah.
It's like always about some tree somewhere. When I'm really, really tired, or I'm like on the verge of giving up on something, or just I don't know, unsure or whatever, then the trees kind of like offer some wisdom just by being themselves, and like me thinking about them and then maybe writing about them.
What's your favorite part, like when you look at a tree?
Yeah, I think over time I have kind of like learned to appreciate the sort of like the trunk and the roots. I used to be like all about the leaves, yeah. So like, you know, they change in seasons, and they can be super evergreen, and they can be this, and they're so pretty to look at. And then in Finland, when the winter is like, it's the dead of winter, there's like absolutely not a single leaf, just like this kind of like stick figure thing is just in the gray and whiteness that is like the world at that point, and it's just there surviving. And then actually this spring I started thinking about like how the roots must be like, you know, because before anything comes up, there's like a lot of things that go under, right? So the tree first grows, you know, like the roots grow, and you know, like it takes a lot of sort of inner work before you can see this trunk that seems to be very resilient, before you can see these beautiful leaves. There's the roots that are doing the work. So now I'm appreciating the roots, and then I'm appreciating the trunks, and I still love the leaves, but I don't know, I think the roots are doing the most. I guess if you're a tree, you have to have like multiple parts and like different types of work that you do, like internally and externally, and the things that are visible to people and the work that's invisible, all that is important. So I guess as a person, then I start thinking a lot about this invisible work that sometimes we ignore, but then when I look at trees, I'm reminded that, oh my God, there's roots here that are doing the work, and then you have the rest of the stuff. Of course, there is like leaves for nourishment, but there's also like, you know, they search for the water.
Yeah. Like if there's just one thing that you would say, like, this is what poems or what poetry have done to me, what would that be?
I would say heal. That would be the most important, I guess, if it was just the one thing I had to pick. It's given me a lot, but this like heal is the most important one. But I've also like gotten boys out of it. So when I was and a husband, thank you, poetry.
Okay. We're not going back to
serious
12 years ago right now.
Okay, now it's heal. What about you?
For me, it's the same thing. Poetry has been healing. Like, there are things, maybe pains and heartaches and things that from the past, and poetry has proved to me that there's power in healing through poetry, and because it gives me that opportunity to express myself, but also it gives me an opportunity to read works of so many other people that have written of different subjects that relate to what I have been going through at that, what I've gone through, or what I am going through. Also,
is it boys also?
No. But also just the power to express myself. Through expressing myself, I talk about different subjects, different things, reaching out to people who are going through maybe difficulties as well, sharing my stories, sharing my life, my story with other people through poetry. I think it's just powerful, the fact that it just gives us that avenue.
What's the poem that you kind of like go to right now? That's also your own, because I know sometimes you like other people's poems and they resonate. But do you go back to your own poem and like, this one speaks to me right now? Do you have any?
Yes.
And can you share it?
Yes, I have one. So this poem, I'll read a part of it. I wrote it for my daughter, Janelle. So
Janelle.
So I wrote it for Janelle. It's called Dear Daughter, just like that. So Dear Daughter. And when I was writing it, I was just reflecting on my life and the mistakes that I have done over the years, growing up, learning different things along the way. There's a lot that I want to tell my daughter. If I talk to her, she will not understand, because she's just, by that time she was like 3 or 4. So I started writing for her. But it was really not for her. It was basically for me, because it was me writing to my daughter, but it was also me writing to the younger self, that this is how I would love to be as I grow older. These are the lessons that I have learned, and hopefully she'll be better than me. She'll grow up and she'll make her own mistakes, but she'll be better than me.
Can you read something? We can be your daughters today.
You
a little
can
bit of
be my daughter. But Janelle means gracious.
Which is
Neema.
Yeah, so basically you just named her me, but you didn't want it to be obvious. I get it.
I didn't want to be direct. Dear daughter, I've never loved myself enough to laugh through the rough times. I've seen different colors fading in the beauty of the flowers. I've woken up to different nightmares, only to calm down through the power of a prayer. I know those days when I needed someone beside me to prove me right and write down the path I should take, because I could not fight, for my sight was stolen and I only saw my shadow through someone else's light. Dear daughter, always remember, you are not me. Your choices should always lead you to being free. Do not keep falling in the trap of the past. Live the present and remember, every season will come to last. Even when you have too many questions with no answers, look up and believe He's still painting your word with more colors. Learn to love as you evolve. Set your eyes above the things you cannot solve. So I'll end there for now. So
wow.
That's just part of it.
That is so precious and so beautiful. I love it.
I really love you as a friend, but also I love you as a sister, younger sister.
Okay. We're getting there.
But I love you as a sister, and you always inspire me so much. When you're asking me a question about a poem, before you said that is yours, a poem that came to mind was your poem, Osiogope. I think I've mentioned to you that poem over and over, that's my favorite poem of all time. So one of the things that I think today I just want to hear from you, like one of the poem that you can just read for us, for me, about trees.
You want a poem about trees?
No, any poem that you feel like sharing.
No. The poem itself, when I wrote it, it was actually during springtime, and all the trees were just leaves are coming back to the trees, and it's this kind of really beautiful moment that you think about. But it really made me think, about the work it takes to produce new leaves after like a dead winter, so to speak, and whether it was actually painful to the trees, and how resilient you must be in times of like struggles and times of like sort of like bad seasons, how resilient you must be to be able to produce new leaves. And so this was like the inspiration behind it. So let's see. The trees were doing the most, and then I wrote about it, and I wonder if I like did justice to them. But yeah, I said, I wonder if spring brings pain to the tree when a tinge of green squeezes through the dry gray branches. Is it as uncomfortable as the awakening of a blocked nerve? First, the distant tingling, the piercing rush, then the pain of too much feeling. It looks effortless, this slow birthing of leaves, the willow branches and their bulbs standing still in the chill. I wonder how deep the roots must reach to not give in and die, if it will be reborn anyway. That's the poem. I wonder how deep the roots must reach to not give in and die, if it will be reborn anyway.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for being the poet that you are. You're amazing. Don't stop writing, Neema.
Neither should you. Let's all write. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.